Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, O Lord.
At that time, so many people were crowding together that they were trampling one another underfoot. Jesus began to speak, first to his disciples. Beware of the leaven, that is, the hypocrisy of the Pharisees. There is nothing concealed that will not be revealed, nor secret that will not be known. Therefore, whatever you have said in the darkness will be heard in the light, and what you have whispered behind closed doors will be proclaimed on the housetops. I tell you, my friends, do not be afraid of those who kill the body, but after that can do no more. I shall show you whom to fear. Be afraid of the one who, after killing, has the power to cast into Gehenna. Yes, I tell you, be afraid of that one. Are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 small coins? Yet not one of them has escaped the notice of God. Even the hairs of your head have all been counted. Do not be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. I remember another parish I had been at a few years back, and a new fella came into the school. I think he was 5th or 6th grade, one of those grades. And anyway, he was from the southern part of the United States. I think he was from Georgia or Alabama. Again, I can't remember the specifics, but from the south. And then when he spoke, how did he speak that was different than maybe a lot of the other kids? Howdy all? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, howdy. Yes.
He loves each other.
Yeah. And so, yeah, he spoke, he had a different accent, you know, so some of the words he spoke differently, like you said, y'all, but other words too. And so he was new to the school. His family had just moved up from the south because the dad had gotten a new job. He goes into the classroom. He speaks very different in his pronunciation than everybody else in the class. What do you think, how do you think some of the students in that class treated him because he was speaking so differently? They laughed at him. Yeah, what else would you add to that? Sure, yeah. They didn't treat him fair. Yeah, they laughed. They didn't treat him fair. They bullied him. Okay, you can put your hands down. Yeah. All of that. Not everybody did it, but many people in the class did it. And of course, I was the pastor, and I heard about it and thought, how do you feel about that? When people bully each other or make fun of each other, well, what do you feel about it? Sure. That's okay. That's okay. Okay, yeah.
They won't be friends anymore.
Yeah, they won't be friends anymore. And how do you think that person being bullied feels?
You feel sad?
Yeah, sad. And why?
Because people are bullying him just because he has some different accent.
Yeah, the people are bullying him just because he has a different accent, and so he's feeling sad about that and hurt about that. So anyway, the class there, I remember they asked me, because I was the pastor at this other church, to come in and talk a little bit about that. And I could say, when I heard that, I felt bad and maybe angry, not angry to beat anybody up, but disappointed, better than angry, disappointed, because here this was a Catholic Christian school and that was going on, and somebody new to the classroom. If anything, everybody should have gone out of their way to do what? Yeah, treat them right. Treat them right. Do what is the right and good thing, and instead they were going the other direction. Part of the reason I could feel it deeply is because I thought back when I was in grade school. When I was in grade school, I was the first kid in my class in, I think, 4th grade to get glasses. I have contacts today, but I had glasses, and first kid in the class, and again, what do you think some of the kids did to me? Yeah, they made me feel bad, bullied me, they made me funny. I still remember, all these years back, they called me Four Eyes. Here comes Four Eyes. You know, that's what they did. And so I was able to go back and thinking about this kid from the South who was coming up, I could feel so deeply because I had been there. Because I had experienced that hurt, that being made fun about, that talked about. You know, even in the gospel today, the first part of the gospel says, what is hidden will be revealed. You know, that people will know. And I know at the time, I didn't know who was saying that. A lot of people were saying it behind my back. But the point is, as that gospel says, God knows when we do wrong, when we hurt one another, and He doesn't want to put us down for that. He wants to help us change. He wants to help us be more patient and kind and loving and think, and this is for all of us, and any adults, kids, whatever, how would I want to be treated? I wouldn't want to be put down, mocked, made fun of, bullied in any way. So all of us, if we think about that, hopefully, and think about how does God want us to treat other people, that we would be more kind and patient. Often the people that get made fun of or bullied or any of that are the people who most of all maybe need a student who's kind to them, somebody who reaches out to them. And if somebody has done wrong and made fun of and bullied somebody, what do you think that person maybe should do with the other person? Yeah. Yeah, say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that happened to you. And I'm sorry especially if I did it too. Some people don't do it, but they don't say anything either. I remember going back to being Four Eyes, I still remember one kid did stick up for me and said, you shouldn't treat him like that. And I remember, in fact, I don't remember his last name, but I remember his first name was Dan. But I remember him because he stood up for me. And he kind of basically told the other kids he didn't care how they think, that what was going was wrong. And so for all of us, in any grade or any age, we need to see that God wants us not to do that. In the end of that gospel, Jesus is saying to the people that as a person, you are worth more than many sparrows. And that may think, well, gee, sparrows aren't worth that much, are they? But the point he was trying to use, the imagery, every human being is of great worth to God. Every human being, however they talk, however they look, whatever they could do, whatever they can't do, every human being is of God and is worth of God. Every one of us have worth because the Lord created us. And we also heard today, as part of that responsorial psalm, God chose every one of us. Think about that. Wow, He brought us into birth. He chose us. We all are significant. And wrapping up with what we're talking about here, He chose every one of us to try to bring His goodness to the people around us. He chose every one of us, if we see somebody hurting somebody, if we see somebody putting somebody down, making fun of somebody, to say that's not right. And if we find ourselves in a moment maybe doing something like that, He chose us to say, wow, God, you made me, and I realize I'm not doing what you want me to do. I'm putting somebody else down. And God, you chose me, you chose each of us to build people up, to care about people, to do what's right and good for them. And so today, just take a moment. Just asked to think about it. Every one of us here, are there, looking back even over a week, are there people I've made fun of or put down or talked behind their back? Do I realize that's wrong? And probably one of the greatest things, even if you can't go to the person, at the very least, stop doing it Stop doing it. We are a Catholic Christian school, and here, everything we're doing is to help each other see that we're all of great worth to God, and we need to treat each other as the worth that each of us is to God, and never put each other down. We're here to help each other be better. So take a moment and see in this preaching, maybe each of us, what did I need to hear? You know, what maybe is God trying to speak to me from this Mass today, and what am I going to do about that to be better? And God bless you all, because we're all of infinite worth to a loving God.